Oh goodness. Are you ready to try a WhistlePig cast strength store pick? Let's go. Hey everybody, this is Mark from Northwest Bourbon. Thank you for joining me. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that YouTube stuff. I want to get into this whiskey. This is the first time I will ever try WhistlePig. I've never even had a sample of WhistlePig because when I see it on the shelf, I think that looks like extremely overpriced Canadian whiskey.
Nobody takes us Canadians seriously. It's like the world doesn't respect Canada at all, eh? That's right. And I think it's time for Canada to show the world just how bad things would be without it. Together we can send a message. It's time for Canada to strike.
But we just got this single barrel store pick on base that's 116.3 proof and a 10-year age statement. And it was less than 80 bucks out the door. And so I figured if I'm ever gonna try WhistlePig, this is probably the bottle to try. So let's get into it. All right, and I gotta be honest with you, with this wide but flat bottle shape, this was one of the hardest bottles I've ever flipped. I've never flipped a bottle that was that awkward to hold in your hand like that. Let's go. All right, pretty good cork pop. And let's go ahead and pour it up so we can review it with you. Had a crazy sound to it. We're gonna let this sit and get some air for a minute while we take a look at this crazy bottle. You've got a 10-year age statement on the neckband. It has a sticker right here that says exclusively bottled for those who have served, because it was an on-base military store pick. And it says it's from barrel 196860. WhistlePig, hand bottled on the WhistlePig farm, single barrel rye, aged 10 years, 116.3 proof, warehouse rick level 2H7, 116.3 proof, 58.15%, 750 milliliters. And it has another 10-year age statement there. So while looking at this, there's 1, 2, 3 spots on the bottle where it tells us that 10-year age statement. So they really want to rub that in. All right, so let's take a look at it in the glass. It's got a nice amber color to it. I can see some legs forming there. It looks like it has. I'm expecting some nice viscosity based on these nice thick legs going on here. Let's check it out on the nose. Whoa, that is a pretty robust nose. I was not expecting that much on the nose from a Canadian whiskey. Lots of caramel and vanilla and barrel up front. Then when you get deeper into the nose, there is a lot of rice spices going on. I've got to say, that smells really interesting. Let's get into the palate. Cheers. Whoa. There's a lot of flavors going on. Nice, strong finish. Ooh. Big Kentucky hug. You feel those whiskey spices going down, just warming up your chest. That 116 proof doesn't play. So nice and sweet on the front of the tongue, but that goes away quite quickly to all the rye spices. You get a little bit of barrel char, but then the rye spices just overtake that. Lots of white pepper and allspice dancing around. Then you get a little bit of that mint or dill flavor. Mint and dill are very similar on the place in the tongue of where those hit. And so it was kind of bouncing back and forth between a mint and a dill. And when I say dill, I'm talking about the plant. If you guys have ever smelled fresh dill, man, you get that flavor note in the back for a little while, but then the finish just takes over and you forget about anything going on in your mouth because the finish is so strong and robust. Let's get into the second sip. Cheers. Man, the spices on the back of the tongue are crazy. But now that my mouth is a little bit more acclimated, I got more caramels and vanillas on the front of the tongue. The sweetness up front lasted a little bit longer this time, but the spices in the back of the tongue were almost more vibrant. It has pretty good viscosity. The mouth coat is great. I honestly did not expect that I would like it at all, let alone this much. That is a pretty good rye. There's a lot going on. It's very complex, multiple layers going on. Great finish, great mouth coat. Nice sweetness up front, very spicy. If you love rye whiskey and you have access to a military base, or you have a friend that has access to a military base, try to find this, because this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And just to let you know, attention to detail, while I was looking at this and deciding if I wanted to buy it or not, I was looking at the bottles and I noticed there are 2 different barrel picks on base at the same time right now. And so there's 2 different ones. This one is the 116.3 proof from barrel 196860. I am really tempted to go pick up the other one now and try them side by side, because like I said, I like this one a lot more than I thought I would. But thanks for joining me for my first time ever trying WhistlePig, and I know all single barrels are not created equal, so this single barrel store pick is probably a bit different than most of the other WhistlePigs that you see on the shelf. But a lot of times when they get a little bit higher in proof or a little bit higher in age statement, they go soaring past the $100 mark, and I'm not going to try one of those Canadian whiskeys that are overpriced like that. And so finding a single barrel store pick that has that nice cast strength proof of 116 right in my sweet spot for less than 80 bucks out the door, had to try it, and I'm glad I did. And I'm glad that you were here to join me for it. Please drop a comment in the comments below and let me know if you've ever tried anything from WhistlePig and what you thought of it. Are the regular WhistlePigs that I'm seeing on the shelf all the time that I'm writing off as overpriced Canadian whiskey, are they anywhere close to this good? Because now I'm curious. So drop it in the comments below if you've ever tried WhistlePig and what bottle you tried and what your thoughts were. But hey, if you like talking whiskey, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos. Check out the playlist. We got everything subcategorized, lots of different options and different types of videos for you to watch. But until then, take care of you and yours, drink more water than whiskey, and earn, protect, enjoy. Cheers.